1968, Australia became only the third nation in the world to launch its own Earth-orbiting satellite. Today, its space industry offers a quarter of a century of skill and experience to the commercial market.
The Australian Space Office works with industry to capture commercial opportunities, and the combination of Australian experience and skills of world class gives us some very real competitive advantages.
An island continent of vast, empty landscapes, Australia quickly saw the promise of satellite imagery for its agricultural and mineral industries. It has been a world leader in applying remote sensing to land mapping, environmental monitoring, meteorology and mineral exploration. Honing their skills in the world's most challenging environment, Australian scientists produced elegant, economical solutions to problems in image analysis and data manipulation. These found wider application, and Australia now exports its expertise to Southeast Asia and the Pacific. Australian scientists have produced versatile image processing software for computers, ranging from PCs to mainframes. Microbrian, a digital imaging package for PCs, evolved from a project to map the shallow waters of the Great Barrier Reef. Powerful yet inexpensive, Microbrian has been successfully marketed internationally. Australia is keeping pace in space. The Australian Centre for Remote Sensing is being readied to receive data from the European Space Agency's ERS-1 satellite, due for launch in 1991. The upgrade includes the Fast Delivery Processor, a specialised very high-speed imaging computer for synthetic aperture radar images, designed and built by British Aerospace Australia. Complementing its capabilities in applications and processing, Australia has developed novel sensor systems. Australian industry and the National Research Agency, CSIRO, have produced a prototype atmospheric pressure sensor and successfully test-flown it on an aircraft. From the higher ground of space, it will usher in synoptic scale imaging of pressure patterns, promising cheaper, more reliable weather forecasting.
Are you getting a TV picture now, Houston?
Neil, yes, we are getting a TV picture. You're in our field of view now.
In 1969, Australian stations and NASA's tracking network relayed to the world man's first words from the moon. In 1989, NASA's Deep Space Network station near Canberra, managed by the Australian Space Office, provided the critical link in capturing the dramatic images of Voyager 2's encounter with Neptune. Australia is one of only 6 countries with its own domestic satellite system, owned and operated by AUSSAT. The first of Australia's next generation of communication satellites in the AUSSAT B series will be launched in 1991. Australian science and industry are making significant contributions to their design and hardware, and new companies are joining the ranks of space-qualified manufacturers. One such company, AusSpace, developed a novel, highly sensitive photon counting device for Australia's Endeavour project, an experimental ultraviolet telescope that will fly on the Space Shuttle in 1990. Their skill and that of companies like Hawker de Havilland and NEC Australia have been rewarded by significant contracts for work on the AUSSAT B satellites being built by America's Hughes Corporation. British Aerospace Australia is manufacturing the travelling wave tube amplifiers for AUSSAT B and has undertaken work on the satellite's laser retroreflector ranging system. James Optics, a highly skilled Melbourne company, is making the array of 14 precision ground cube corner prisms for the retroreflector. NEC Australia is manufacturing AUSAT-B's transponders in its new state-of-the-art electronics centre in Melbourne. It features a world-class clean room and advanced environmental testing facilities. AUSAT-B requires a highly accurate shaped beam antenna to cover Western Australia and adjacent islands. Using its own advanced software, CSIRO created a successful first-time design, confirmed by a working prototype. The same software is now being applied to other satellite antenna design. Australia's leading edge in radio astronomy and early use of satellite communication have led to expertise in antenna design and construction. That expertise is evident in the design of novel, low-cost antennas and terminals for mobile satellite communications, due for introduction in 1992. Australia will be the first country in the world to introduce a dedicated mobile satellite communications system. AUSAT-B's powerful L-band transponder will provide communications with vehicles, aircraft, coastal shipping and emergency services.
Yeah, John, got them in the yard. They're looking good. Yeah, they should go about 300. All right then, we'll see you later. Cheers.
Australia's geographic isolation places similar demands on its overseas telecommunications links. The National Overseas Telecommunications Agency, OTC, provides telemetry, tracking, control and monitoring for Intelsat and European Space Agency satellites over the Pacific and Indian Oceans. Both OTC and AUSAT have extensive experience in providing these services for commercial satellites, from launch through to operation in orbit. Australia's space industry now contemplates its most exciting challenge, the Cape York Spaceport. The Australian government has endorsed a proposal to establish an international commercial launch service at Cape York, just 12 degrees south of the equator. The first launches are envisaged in the mid-1990s, using an Australian launch vehicle based on the Soviet Union's Zenit rocket. Improved rocket performance attributable to the proximity of the site to the equator, the availability of an eastern launch corridor over the Pacific required for placing commercial communications satellites into geostationary orbit, favourable climatic conditions and available industrial support are all factors in favour of seeing the project successfully realised by the mid-1990s.
Launch services, communications and remote sensing are areas of opportunity for industry in Australia now. New areas are emerging. The Australian Space Office will provide the leadership, stimulation and coordination necessary to ensure that Australia will be part of the international space industry.